94. False Atonements. Chalcedon Report number 363, October 1995. The Reverend Steve Schlizzle, in a recent article in the Chalcedon Report, called attention to the relationship between pagan atonement sacrifices of innocent children and present-day abortion. The relationship is closer than people recognize. But the subject is dropping out of common knowledge because it does not conform to the modern views of paganism. Larousse's World Mythology, 1965. Edited by Pierre Grimal, has little to say about it. Sir James G. Fraser, in The Golden Bough, 1922, had more to say at that earlier date. Most people know what they do in this matter from the Bible, the pagan Moloch worship with its sacrifices of children. Such sacrifices have atonement and renewal as their purpose. Such an atonement for guilty men requires the blood of innocent victims, hence the widespread use in antiquity of little children, whom paganism held to be innocent. The necessity of blood atonement has been a subject of history, mythology, and drama. Euripides wrote Iphigenia in Aulis, which in 1978 was again translated, this time by W.S. Merwin and George E. Dimmock, Jr., published by Oxford, with a foreword by William Arrowsmith. This modern version is notable for its ignorance of the meaning of sacrifice and atonement. The theme of the Iphigenia story is that, in order to war successfully against Troy, Iphigenia's father must atone for his royal family's sins by sacrificing her at the altar of the goddess. In retelling, the motives and outcome have been blurred by authors and by translators. Dimmock saw the play as showing us how to be free of necessity, page 20. This is not explained. Did a sacrificial death provide freedom from guilt, or was this evaded? Since the subject of atonement is excluded from literary criticism, the Iphigenia tale ends up a confused humanistic tragedy or near-tragedy. Euripides held that the sacrifice to Artemis was mandatory. Iphigenia sees that it is hard to hold out against the inevitable. All these good things I can win by dying. Because of me, Greece will be free, and my name will be blessed there. It is held that this pure blood from the throat of a beautiful girl will give the Greeks victory. The issue was atonement. There was a belief that children and innocent virgins could, by their shed blood, make atonement. This is why, although historians avoid the subject, human sacrifices in great numbers were basic to Greece and to Rome, to the Aztecs and Mayas, and to other peoples. In Northern Europe, circa AD 800, it was with difficulty that Charlemagne put down human sacrifices. He succeeded when he forcibly baptized the tribes and told them that further sacrifices would incur the wrath of the Christian God. After that, such sacrifices were somewhat rare, and in time were blamed on the Jews by the covert pagans. The Iphigenia tale was the subject of a play, 1779, and after by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Iphigenia in Tauris. His basic premise was, as Edward Dowden wrote, that a human transgression might be atoned for by human means. He saw the substitution of love and peace as the true way of being Greek. Goethe substituted love and feeling for atonement. His comments on Iphigenia are, in essence, feministic. Iphigenia's reek of innocence, the curse of others seized me. The, quote, redemption, end quote, set forth in Goethe's Faust is here present. A good word from a woman often can lead a nobleman far onward. The excuse for sin is humanistic. And as for his transgression, it was human. Humanism prevails for Goethe. We are taught by life. Love replaces sacrifice as a means of atonement. Goethe, the great humanist, set aside the atonement requirement to replace it with human emotion. But man's being is God's creation. Every atom of man's body witnesses to the Creator, and the need for atonement is God-ordained and cries out in all man's being. If man rejects God's atonement through Jesus Christ, he will substitute his own forms thereof. In sadism, he lays his sins on other peoples to punish and even to kill them. In masochism, guilty man seeks self-atonement through self-punishment. Many utilize both means and are sadomasochists. The 20th century has become the bloodiest of all centuries as men have turned from Christ's atonement to their own bloody varieties of sadomasochism. We cannot escape the God-ordained orders of life, which, among other things, require that man the sinner have atonement before he faces the righteous God of all justice. We must not misunderstand theology. Because God is God, theology is the fact of life, and atonement an inescapable fact. As Harold J. Berman showed in Law and Revolution, our Western legal system and our civilization rests on the doctrine of the atonement. Our abandonment of that doctrine is leading to the increasing collapse of our culture and our society. There can be no return to a viable civilization except by a return to the classical doctrine of the atonement, fully set forth by John Calvin. We have become the culture of death. Our media, books, television and films are brutal and bloody because the way of life is foreign to us. There is a critical need to restudy the Old Testament doctrine of the atonement and its totally essential link to the atonement by Christ. Christendom cannot be restored by pious feelings, but only by the truth, by the atonement.